Hello all, welcome to Raj Malhotra's IAS. I hope you all are doing fine, and in today's video we are here to discuss with you political science and international relations optional. Right? कि अगर हम आपको देखें कि मेंस का जो कंपोनेंट है या मेंस का जो सिलेबस होता है उस मेंस के सिलेबस में ऑप्शनल पेपर की बहुत ज़्यादा वेटेज होती है. तो अगर आपने मेंस का पैटर्न देखा है तो यू मस्ट हैव रियलाइज्ड दैट इन ऑप्शनल एग्जामिनेशन देयर इज अ 500 मार्क पेपर जस्ट एंड जस्ट फॉर ऑप्शनल. सो इट बिकम्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट for the aspirants to select and to choose the perfect optional which can get them selected, right? The first and most important thing when you choose the optional is your area of interest, and second of all that whether it can help you clear the exam or not. So when we talk about the area of interest of your optional before you are choosing an optional, so you will realize that this political science and international relations is such a wonderful optional that almost everybody gets interested and gets attracted to one optional, that is political science and international relations, because everybody knows the idea and the scope of political science as well as the idea of international relations. तो जैसे कि पॉलिटिकल साइंस आप जीएस में भी पढ़ते हो एक कंपोनेंट जिसको बोलते हैं हम पॉलिटी, राइट? कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन एवरीबडी रीड्स एंटायर जीएस2 पेपर ऑफ योर मेंस एग्जामिनेशन comprises of polity subject, that is your constitution, and alongside that your international relations. So political science and international relations is one of the most sought after optional because there is a lot of overlapping with your GS syllabus. Secondly, why political science interests many of the students is that you can score a lot of marks in this particular optional. There have been many cases in which the students are able to score 300 and 300 plus marks when it comes to political science optional, right? And you can see in last many years that there have been multiple candidates who have got selected with regard to the political science optional. Like there was rank 1 Tina Dabi ma'am, Anmol Sher Singh Bedi sir, and there were many others. There was one K Dinesh sir. So there were many students last year and last to last year and many years that who have scored good ranks because of political science optional, and they have scored wonderful marks in this optional, right? So taking this journey forward, I am here to present to you this optional, that is political science and international relations. What is the syllabus of this optional? How we at Raj Malhotra's IAS are going to carry forward and take forward along with you this particular subject so that you are able to get maximum marks and utilize the scope of this particular optional, be it in your optional subject, be it in your GS as I have already told you of polity and international relations, and even in your essay examination. So that is the wide parameter and wide scope of political science optional. So starting with the syllabus regarding the optional. So first, in this first part of the video, we are going to discuss paper 1 of this particular topic. So as you can see over here that I have divided paper 1 into two parts. One is part A and one is part B. Part A, if you look at the syllabus, so there is one myth that is created around political science optional, that it is a very vast optional. But that, as I have started by saying, that it is a myth. तो अगर आप पॉलिटिकल साइंस ऑप्शनल का सिलेबस देखते हो तो आपको लगेगा कि पहले पार्ट में या पेपर 1 में 10 चैप्टर हैं. बट वन थिंग वी हैव टू रियलाइज इज दैट हाउ मेनी multiplicity topics or how many topics UPSC has written multiple times, right? So you will realize that the entire paper 1 part A comprises of two primary things. One is the thought and second is the theory, right? It is not that you have to understand and you have to read everything separately, but it is only and only that if you are able to comprehend these two components, that is the component of thought and the theory, it will not only help you in understanding paper 1 part A, but it will also automatically cover paper 2 part A and paper 1 part B and paper 2 part B. So this particular topics or these particular topics of thought and theory, they take maximum of your time. When we will study in the class, तो we take around 4.5 to 5 months in covering this optional. So primary our concern is that we take around 4 to 4.5 months in covering this optional. So when we are covering this optional, when we are reading this optional, so you will realize that this time or this particular topic will take maximum of your time while comprehending as well as while reading. But once we are done with these two topics, you will realize that many of the topics that are further mentioned in part A or in part B or in paper 2, many of them have been automatically understood and comprehended. Right. So first of all, if you look at the syllabus, so the first point in the syllabus that UPSC has written is political theory, meaning and approaches. But that first chapter, political theory, meaning and approaches, will be the last chapter that we will cover under paper 1 part A. The reason why we are covering it as in the last is because you need to understand beforehand that what is the theory and the thought behind the meaning and approaches. Right? For example, अगर मैं आपको बताऊं कि मैं आपको सारा का सारा इंट्रोडक्शन देना स्टार्ट कर दूं, ठीक है, या आप किसी से मिलते हो और आप उसको सारा बताते हो कि मेरा बैकग्राउंड ये है, मैं यहाँ से आया हूँ, सब कुछ मैंने इतना पढ़ाई करी है, या मैंने इतनी बार यूपीएससी की इंटरव्यू फेस करी, आपने सब कुछ बता दिया, पर जब तक आपने अपना नाम नहीं बताया या फिर आपने उसको अपना एजुकेशन बैकग्राउंड नहीं दिया, तब तक वो कैसे समझेगा कि आप किस फ्रेम ऑफ माइंड से निकल के आए हो। उसी तरह अगर हमने पॉलिटिकल थ्योरी, मीनिंग एंड अप्रोचेस की बात सबसे पहले करी, तो जब तक हमें यही नहीं पता कि थॉट और थ्योरी है क्या, तब तक हम कैसे समझेंगे कि उसको समझने के लिए चीज़ें की आवश्यकता क्या है। ठीक है, कि मैं आपको समझा दूं कि लिबरलिज्म ने ऐसे ऐसे इवॉल्व करा, पर अगर मैंने आपको यही नहीं समझाया कि लिबरलिज्म है क्या, तब तक आप उसका एवोल्यूशन कैसे समझोगे। इसी कॉन्टेक्स्ट में सबसे पहले हम सिलेबस में जो टॉपिक उठाते हैं वो उठाते हैं थॉट, और उसमें से भी वेस्टर्न पॉलिटिकल थॉट। अब वेस्टर्न पॉलिटिकल थॉट में देयर आर अराउंड 9 to 10 thinkers that UPSC talks to go through. So first of all, starting with the idea of Plato and Aristotle. You can read in multiple books or you can read in multiple sources that there is the concept what Plato has explained, what Aristotle has explained. But when you talk about Plato and Aristotle, one thing nobody tells or one thing nobody makes you understand is the idea that how Socrates helped Plato and Aristotle and further the entire thought. So first we have to understand the basic premise even of Socrates and then taking to Plato and Aristotle. So Socrates is a minor introduction that you have to understand, right? Because UPSC has also asked the questions which are related to the Socratic influence on Plato. So you need to understand the Socratic influence on Plato, then we can continue with Plato and Aristotle. Now we come to that point where we explain or where we talk in class by merging these two topics. ठीक है, अब होता क्या है कि लोग ना काफ़ी ऐसे भी हमने देखे हैं किस्से कि लोग सिलेबस शुरू करते हैं और वो साल दर साल चलाते रहते हैं। ठीक है, कि एक साल सिलेबस चल रहा है, कईयों का एक साल से ज़्यादा एक्सटेंड कर जाता है, कई पूरा ही नहीं करवा पाते हैं। तो जैसे हमने लास्ट ईयर यहाँ पे पढ़ाया, तो हमने क्या किया कि वी कंप्लीटेड द सिलेबस इन 4.5 to 5 मंथ, जैसे कि मैंने आपको स्टार्टिंग में बताया। ठीक है, कुछ लोग जैसे मैं बता रहा हूँ कि साल दर साल सिलेबस चलता रहता है, वो पूरा नहीं होता, टॉपिक भी छुड़वा देते हैं फिर भी पूरा नहीं होता। हमने क्या किया, हमने यहाँ पे एक मेथड अडॉप्ट किया कि जहाँ मैं वेस्टर्न पॉलिटिकल थॉट में समझा रहा हूँ हॉब्स, लॉक, इन हॉब्स और लॉक के साथ एसोसिएटेड कंसेप्ट होता है लिबरलिज्म का। लिबरलिज्म एक ऐसी थ्योरी है जो आपके सिलेबस में मेंशन्ड है। तो जब मैं हॉब्स और लॉक बताया और हॉब्स और लॉक लिबरलिज्म के साथ एसोसिएटेड हैं, तो उसी के साथ हम आपके थ्योरी का एक पोर्शन कवर करते हैं जिसको बोलते हैं लिबरलिज्म। अब जहां पे आपने पहले पूरा थॉट करना था फिर थ्योरीज में जाना था, तो उससे आपका टाइम ज़्यादा लगना था। तो अब हमने क्या किया, हमने थॉट और थ्योरी को एक साथ ले आए। और अगर आप सिलेबस को आगे देखते हैं तो जो मैंने ये लिखा है कंसेप्ट ऑफ स्टेट, पावर, इक्वालिटी, राइट्स, जस्टिस एंड डेमोक्रेसी, इनमें भी यूपीएससी ने क्या लिखा हुआ है कि कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ स्टेट, लिबरल थ्योरी ऑफ स्टेट या लिबरल नोशन ऑफ स्टेट, कंसेप्ट ऑफ जस्टिस, लिबरल नोशन ऑफ जस्टिस। तो अगर हम यहाँ पे लिबरलिज्म पढ़ रहे हैं, लिबरलिज्म समझ रहे हैं, तो हम इसके साथ साथ ही ये समझ सकते हैं कि लिबरल नोशन ऑफ जस्टिस क्या होता है, लिबरल नोशन ऑफ स्टेट क्या होता है, लिबरल नोशन ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी क्या होता है, राइट? तो आर यू गेटिंग माई पॉइंट? कि यहाँ पे अगर हम वेस्टर्न थॉट पढ़ रहे हैं तो लिबरलिज्म हमने पढ़ा, लिबरलिज्म के साथ ही ये सारे टॉपिक्स एसोसिएटेड हैं। तो जहाँ हमने या जहाँ लोग 3 से 4 महीने लगाते हैं इस टॉपिक को कवर करने में, वहाँ पे ये टॉपिक आपका श्रिंक कर जाता है, क्योंकि हम इन टॉपिक्स को मर्ज करके पढ़ते हैं, जो आपके लिए भी बेनिफिशियल है। किस तरह से? क्योंकि पेपर में व्हेन यू राइट द आंसर्स यू ऑल्सो हैव टू गो फॉर क्रॉस पॉलिनेशन ऑफ कॉन्सेप्ट्स। तो क्रॉस पॉलिनेशन ऑफ कॉन्सेप्ट्स इज ओनली पॉसिबल व्हेन यू स्टडी द सब्जेक्ट इन दैट पर्टिकुलर मैनर। सो यहां पे हम इसी तरह से इसको अंडरस्टैंड करेंगे और इसी तरह से कॉम्प्रिहेंड करेंगे। सेकेंड ऑफ द थिंग दैट वी हैव टू डिसाइड एंड वी हैव टू टॉक अबाउट इन दिस सिलेबस इज दैट व्हेन वी मूव फ्रॉम हॉब्स एंड लॉक वी गो टू वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पॉलिटिकल साइंस थिंकर एवर द वर्ल्ड हैज सीन, दैट इज कार्ल मार्क्स. Karl Marx changed the history, Karl Marx changed the idea of political science around the world. If you see the era post World War II, you will see that nobody in the world, not even a single individual in the world was the person who did not read Karl Marx. The entire world spectrum, entire world order revolved around Karl Marx and his theories. So that is the impact of Karl Marx in the entire world. And now imagine how Karl Marx or how important Karl Marx is in the syllabus of political science and international relations. So then we will introduce you to the idea of Karl Marx. And this idea of Karl Marx is related to the concept of Marxism and socialism, which is again the theory that is mentioned in your syllabus. If you understand Karl Marx, if you understand the evolution of Marxism, you will be able to understand the idea of Marxism and socialism. And similarly, UPSC in its syllabus has mentioned Marxian concept of state, Marxian concept of equality, Marxian concept of rights, Marxian concept of justice, and democratic socialism and how democratic socialism evolved. Again, interlinkages of concept. Then in your syllabus there is another thinker which is mentioned very primarily, that is Hannah Arendt. So Hannah Arendt is one thinker that is mentioned in your syllabus. So if you do not understand the idea of Hannah Arendt under Western political thought, so you will not be able to comprehend the concept of power. But once you understand Hannah Arendt, the concept of power is automatically done. There is one more thinker that is associated with concept of power, that is Foucault. That we will do separately in concept of power. But my idea here at present is to tell you that how smartly we can prepare this particular optional which can get you maximum marks and which you can complete in the limited time frame, right? So when we understand this Western political thought, or when we are done with this idea of thought, you will realize that your theory portion is completed, and alongside your theory portion, many of these concepts you have also done. So once we are done over here, we will move to the topic of Indian political thought. Many people do not study or do not give enough time to Indian political thought, but there is always one question in compulsory question that UPSC asks regarding Indian political thought. So everything has to be given due respect, be it Western political thought and be it Indian political thought. So Indian political thought, we will discuss the 7 to 8 thinkers that UPSC has mentioned, be it Kautilya, be it Mahatma Gandhi, be it Baba Saheb Ambedkar, or be it your Syed Ahmad Khan or M.N. Roy. Now again, when we are studying Western political thought, we have studied Machiavelli. The question regarding Kautilya and Machiavelli is asked by UPSC. So when Machiavelli is done, you will understand Kautilya. When Marxism is done, you will understand the comparison between Baba Saheb Ambedkar or Ambedkar's idea of Marxism related to Karl Marx idea, and M.N. Roy's Marxism to Karl Marx idea. Again, there is interlinkages of process. So by this concept, we can minimize or shrink the syllabus into these 3 subtopics rather than the 10 topics that UPSC has mentioned, right? So this is the way in which we are going to cover paper 1 part A. I hope you are clear with this particular idea. Now there are multiple books that are mentioned on internet when you read the Topper's blog, and I tell you to, and I also recommend many of the students to read Topper's blog if you are planning to choose political science optional or any other optional. So when you read political science optional Topper blog, so you will realize that there are many common books that they have mentioned. They have mentioned for Western political thought Subrata Mukherjee, even Brian Nelson. Many of them would have mentioned O.P. Gaba in political thought as well as political theory. Many of them will mention your Verma's book in Indian political thought, right? Some may even mention for ideologies or theories Andrew Haywood's book. And some may even say that you have to go through the entire IGNOU notes. Now it is not possible for the student who has to prepare prelims, mains, GS component, essay and everything alongside political science optional that or any optional that you read n number or 10 to 15 books for one particular topic or one particular optional. Now here we step in, or here the class or the teacher steps in. Now what we have to do, or what we recommend, or I recommend, is that I recommend only one book for Western political thought and one book for political theory, right? Now Subrata Mukherjee is a wonderful book, but Subrata Mukherjee is too heavy a book to understand and too heavy a book to read. I am not saying that it is not a good book, it is a wonderful book to read, but Subrata Mukherjee does not completely mention the syllabus and completes the syllabus. It talks about from Plato to Marx. It does not include the idea of Gramsci, or even it does not include Hannah Arendt. So many of the thinkers are missing in Subrata Mukherjee. So what I do personally for the students who study political science from me, that there are certain commentators or certain important lines from that particular book. For example, UPSC in paper asked Emerson's idea towards Plato, or Karl Popper's criticism of Plato. So if it is mentioned in any of the book, what I do is I give them a commentaries notes or printed material notes regarding the commentaries from the many of the books, be it Brian Nelson, be it Subrata Mukherjee, or be it even O.P. Gaba of Western political thought. So that I provide to the students, so that rather than focusing on 10 books, their focus is class notes and one particular book that we recommend for them to study. And secondly, when we talk about theory, there is one book that is O.P. Gaba's political theory. But alongside O.P. Gaba's political theory, there has been many or evolution in the political theories field as well, or the field of political theory. There is postmodernism, or there is structuralist theory, which is not mentioned in O.P. Gaba, or neither it is mentioned in any book. But UPSC has asked the questions regarding to postmodernism, or even the structuralist theory, ecofeminism, many of such things. There again the class steps in, because these books are written a long or almost a decade back, but UPSC has evolved in characteristic. Now in class we provide you with the notes of those particular topics or those particular things as well, which are not mentioned particularly by UPSC. So by doing this structure, or by structuring your syllabus in a proper way, we can even reduce the time, and we can also continue with the evolving pattern of UPSC, right? From part A, we go to part B. In part B, we realize that there is a syllabus of Indian government and politics. So this Indian government and politics component, or this Indian government and politics, kind of interlinks to your GS paper 2, that is polity and constitution. Now there is a myth that is created around this subject or this particular topic, that if you read Lakshmikant, this topic can be done. But it is not such. It is that if you read this part, or if you understand or comprehend this idea, your paper 2 of GS2 can be done, or GS2 can be completed, right? Because in pre, what we have to understand in Lakshmikant is that Lakshmikant only talks about structure, what is given in the constitution and how it functions, but it does not talk about how it functions, how it behaves, and how it has evolved. The primary question in your mains examination, even in your GS, in GS paper 2, is the application of the constitution. That is missing in Lakshmikant. Okay? And when you read political science option and Indian government and politics, you will understand that application is taught here. Okay. For example, there are questions regarding Panchayati Raj institutions and the women's representation in Panchayati Raj that are asked in GS2. There is a separate topic in your syllabus under Indian government and politics where we read Panchayati Raj institutions and women representation. So when we are reading in your syllabus under political science optional Panchayati Raj institutions and women, so we give you certain theories, we give you certain data and certain thinkers who have dwelled into this topic. When you are attempting this answer in GS2, there will be students who will be just writing कि पंचायती राज इंस्टीट्यूशंस, हाँ कि पंचायत पति का कॉन्सेप्ट है, वुमेन फाइनेंशियल डेवोल्यूशन, these are the very generic points they will write. But when a political science student write such answers even your in GS2 paper, then you have the certain data to incorporate, you have certain committees to incorporate that will definitely give you edge in part B of paper 1 as well as in your GS2 paper. So if you are well versed with paper 1's part B of political science optional, then GS2 becomes a cakewalk for you. Right. So these are the benefits of reading part A and part B of paper 1. Now if I talk about part B, the books related, जैसे एक तो मैंने आपको बताई लक्ष्मीकांत, there are many other sources that have been mentioned on internet and many toppers will also tell you, like there is one book of B.L. Fadia, ठीक है, wonderful book to read but a hefty book of around 1000 pages. There is one book written by Oxford publication which is of Pratap Bhanu Mehta, a very famous author, right, Oxford Handbook on Politics. There is one book recently, a wonderful book came out that is written by MP Singh and Himanshu Roy, right. But again there are multiple books that you have to read. Now again here I step in, or here the institute step in. Now again what we do is that we synergize and summarize the entire booklets and entire thing into the class notes. Now what we do is that I provide the students with the class notes which are amalgamation of all the important topics in the running or in the current atmosphere that is running around in the country, because the questions are asked from that perspective as well. For example, secularism, multiculturalism, they are the questions that can be asked in your GS1 paper, UPSC mains, GS2 as well, and even to a certain extent in your essay examination, which we delve into part B 100% and with great, जिसको बोलते हैं हिंदी में शिद्दत, तो शिद्दत से हम इन सब कंपोनेंट्स को पढ़ते हैं जो आपके ओवरऑल सिलेबस में काम करने में मदद करते हैं। तो ये है आपका पेपर 1 का पार्ट ए एंड पार्ट बी। इसी वीडियो के दूसरे पार्ट में हम बात करेंगे पेपर 2 के पार्ट 2 और पार्ट बी की। सो कंटिन्यूइंग विद आवर डिस्कशन अबाउट पेपर 2, तो इन पेपर 2 you will realize that there are two parts again, part A and part B. So in part A and part B, in part A first we talk about that there are around 3 important portions in part A. One is comparative politics, second is theories of international relations, and third is world order and concerns related to globalization, regionalism, democracy, environment, etc. So as we were talking earlier as well, that there has been a single topic or one topic that has been written multiple times. For example, globalization is a topic that is mentioned here and even in part B. For example, democracy is mentioned here in part A and paper 1 part A. So there are multiple topics that are repeated. For example, NAM as a component or NAM as a topic is mentioned in part A of paper 2 and part B of paper 2 as well. So NAM continues to remain same, the idea of NAM continues to remain same, the idea of democracy continues to remain same, but UPSC has mentioned it multiple times. Thus people think that again political science has a vast syllabus. But when, as I started by saying, that when we frame a proper strategy, when we frame a proper technique that how we are going to cover this syllabus, so you will realize that this syllabus is a very wonderful and very interesting syllabus. Now, as I started in this video by saying that there are myths around this subject, so another myth that is surrounded around this subject is that this portion will not fetch you marks as this is very dynamic. That is an absolute myth. Dynamic portion fetches you more marks in your GS syllabus as well. I ask you a question, as you all are serious aspirants preparing for this prestigious examination, that except a couple of subjects in your general studies like history or to a certain extent geography, which subject is a static subject or which subject is not a dynamic subject? Every subject in your general studies demands evolution, it is dynamic. So when you talk about optional, the dynamism will fetch you more marks, because one very important component in your preparation is newspaper, that is the Bible, or that is the any religious text you believe in, that is the major component or the Bible of your UPSC preparation. So when you are well versed with that Bible, that is the newspaper, so you can get into any of these things or you can plunge into any of these topics. For example, if we talk about comparative politics, so we can understand that what is the comparison or how we can compare the party system in India and the party system in UK. we can compare the pressure group movement in India, the pressure group movement in some other country, for example USA. So we have covered party system and pressure group in paper 1 part B related to India. When we have covered that over there, it is very easy for us to understand that in comparative politics component, right? So that is the intermixing or interrelationship that we will discuss when we are discussing or taking these classes. Second of all, there is a very important component, that is theories of international relations. So we have understood Marxism in paper 1 part 1. We have understood liberalism in paper 1 part 1. We have understood postmodernism in paper 1 part 1. We have understood socialism in paper 1 part 1. We have understood feminism in paper 1 part 1. So that all those theories with a hint of international relations are amalgamated in paper 2 part A. The only important theory that is we discuss here or we tend to leave over there is the idea of realism. But that realist perspective or these theories of international relations that we discuss over here will help you or benefit you when we are covering part B of paper 2. For example, when you write an answer in GS2 paper regarding your international relations, so you write a generic answer. For example, if I ask you regarding India-China relation में थोड़ा issue चल रहा है, तो if I ask you regarding the one belt one road policy of India of China, so should India join it or not? So if you are writing it in IR syllabus or IR paper और अगर सवाल ऐसा आ गया कि इंडिया को बेनिफिट क्या होंगे if India joins one belt one road policy, तो if you are writing it in international relations in general studies, तो you will write कि these are the following points. But when you are writing in part B or in optional, so you will write that these are the points which have been mentioned by C. Raja Mohan, who with his realist perspective. So you have nothing else to prepare for your international relations in GS2 if you are well versed with paper 2's part B topic. For example, if we read here that what is the idea of realism, that we will read here that the idea of realism, then we mix it or pick certain Indian commentators or Indian thinkers or analysts. We say C. Raja Mohan is a realist thinker. So C. Raja Mohan, by his understanding of realism, says that it will be beneficial for India to join one belt one road policy because of these reasons. When you write in your GS, you will eliminate the name of C. Raja Mohan and you will not write the realist perspective. The points continue to remain same. But when you write in optional, realist word will come and C. Raja Mohan's name will come. That will fetch you more marks even in your optional as well as in your GS. Right. Similarly, when we talk about world order and concerns related to globalization, regionalism, these topics you tend to cover in your paper 1 as well as paper 2. So these are the topics that we have to understand when we cover these particular theories or the syllabus of PSIR. Now again, coming to the concept of books. In part A, there are multiple books that you can read. One is Andrew Haywood's Global Politics. One is the book of Baylis and Smith, a wonderful book to read. One is 50 Key Thinkers on International Relations, again a wonderful book. One in market at present, there is a book related of international order by Now. But again, you cannot read all those books. We recommend at Raj Malhotra's only one particular book that you have to read. Rest all are covered in your class notes, right? And similarly, for paper 2 part B, the students or the aspirants or the selected candidates will recommend you the books like Does Elephant Dance by David Malone, again a great book, Pax Indica by Dr. Shashi Tharoor, even some will mention the book of Rajiv Sikri. But all these books have been written 10 years back or 5 years back or 7 years back. The recent books that are written on international relations are one book is Choices written by Shiv Shankar Menon, one is the book written by I forgot the author's name, but there is a wonderful book written that says How India Sees the World. Yes, that is the book written by Shyam Saran, How India Sees the World. Again, there is a book written in the recent times. This year itself, a book has been written by Dr. Shashi Tharoor and Sameer Saran, New World Disorder. So those components are covered in your syllabus as well, but you cannot read all those books. So here what we again or what I did with my students last year is that I gave them the broad understanding of the syllabus. I gave them the broad understanding of the topics. I made them write certain points in the class. For example, when we were discussing India and China, I told them the entire history of India-China relation. I told them the present perspective of India-China relation. I told them the future idea of India-China relation. But along with that, I gave them the commentaries in the printed material, that what is the commentaries on the topical issues by C. Raja Mohan, by Harsh V. Pant, by Dr. Shashi Tharoor, and many of those thinkers, which can help you get maximum marks in your optional subject, right? So again, I am stating this fact by, and I'll end this video by saying here that this is the right time you choose your optional, because if you have to give the exam in 2021 or 2022, this is the right time. As soon as this lockdown will end, the students will be allowed to join offline classes. So anybody who is studying with us on offline platform is completely welcome to study and come in on offline classes. So online students can come and join their offline courses as well, without any barrier and without any bars. And don't waste time thinking that we will start the preparation when the lockdown ends, right? Procrastination has never taken anybody anywhere. If you want the results, if you want to succeed, this is the time, this is the point that you can run ahead of others. So our political science batch will be starting from 8th June. It will be the live classes as well as the recorded classes. Both you can get on our portal, and if you have any comments or any queries regarding this, you can contact our numbers and you can further talk to me or any individual who can further guide you with our courses. Thank you very much, all the best, and hope to see you soon on 8th June with a demo lecture, and so that we can continue with our political science topic. All the best.